Hello, I am Sam Harvey, and I'm here to present about the Mindfulness Collaboratory on behalf of the research team, including Rhonda Schaller and Dr. Esmilda Abreu. This is a project expanding on our previous research, the Mindfulness Resource Lab. For this project, we were working with arts and cultural organizations and individual artists throughout the country in order to train cultural workers, organization leaders, and artists in mindfulness. We're forming community-based mindfulness collectives and sharing contemplative reflection and mindfulness and meditation practices with them. The studies and training's goal is to both better understand the ways that mindfulness practices can become embedded within a community to build resilience, uplift, and capacity building for the arts. You can see a couple of our research questions presented here. Really, as we were finishing our previous work with the Mindfulness Resource Lab, right as COVID lockdowns began, we were left with further questions about the impact of mindfulness on the larger arts communities, especially during a COVID and post-COVID world. The collectives themselves were formed by working with the Emily Hall Tremaine Foundation and our own networks to connect with arts and cultural leaders throughout the country. At this point in January, we've had over 50 participants of all different areas of arts and culture from a lot of different places within the United States and different types of organizations across the country. We spoke with about 9 organizations when we were starting this out, and in the first year we are launching with 5 different collectives and are in discussion with 2 more for next year. We are also launching a national collective, which is an open call across the country for individuals that aren't necessarily affiliated with a specific region or organization in the arts and cultural space within our current networks. For the actual study, we benchmark with pre and post surveys to aid our understanding of the impact of practice on individuals in the studio, in the office, and in daily life. The surveys use the Diener Flourishing Scale, Likert scales for practice, and additional qualitative open questions. Contemplative leadership reflections about the day's struggles and successes are emailed Monday through Thursday to capture more about the impact of practice and to train our participants in auto writing and reflection. At the end of the week, they complete a gratitude reflection on what they'd like to remember about this specific week. And weekends consist of contemplative practice reflections where they're given open-ended prompts to deepen understanding of their practice and its daily applications. For the training component itself, we meet with each collective for 10 hours of training in mindfulness, insight, and compassion. This takes place 4 days a week for 3 weeks. Over 3 of these days were spent in meditation together, with Thursdays including time for reflection in mindful leadership and anti-oppression pedagogy. At the end of the training, each group is given a toolkit with instructions for continuity, audio files for continued practice and reflections. We work with each collective to create a plan to continue their community of practice as a group. We're going to be meeting with each group of collectives after about 6 months to conduct some selected in-depth interviews with participants on their practice and progress. We're really curious to see what happens within the group dynamic of different regions, which collectives grow, which continue, and which don't. Since launching the first 3 collectives, the communities, we've seen 3 different approaches to keeping the collective groups meeting together. One of them is an organizationally led program, while the other 2 are more individually run from different leaders within the group, a small organizing body, or one individual who decided to help them set up either weekly, monthly, bi-weekly practice times to come and meet together. From our initial analysis of the post surveys and planning with each collective, we've already began to see preliminary results of our studies. Participants have noticed things like increases in their happiness, lessening of stress, a better ability to focus, better productivity, and more, as you can see on this slide. Of special note really is the importance of the collective grouping. There's a lot of our participants noting that the formation of the group has been an important element to support showing up, giving themselves permission to integrate self-care as a planning tool, and that mindfulness as a practice within the group acts as a social contract that gives them a level of accountability to each other. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen through our video, and we are so excited to continue this project in the upcoming months and measure how this work continues to grow. You can check out our email addresses and our website listed below.